Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen of One for Review. Today, I'm your host, Grant, and we're going to be talking about Demon Slayer Mugen Train, finally! I know a lot of people have been asking me to talk about this for a while, and I haven't, the same way I have not reviewed other movies that I really should get on. I'm sorry, I will be talking about them. But I thought it was necessary that I finally talk about Demon Slayer Mugen Train. I put it off. I haven't talked about it at all. I think I've mentioned it in a few videos, but I haven't really talked about it. I haven't gone in depth because I wanted to see exactly how successful this goddamn movie would be. Let me tell you guys something. I reviewed the first season back in, I don't know, 2019. I don't remember right now. I remember I reviewed it. I said it was great. Oh, go check it out. It's a great show. Yada yada yada. I did not expect that the next time I was going to be talking about Demon Slayer, I was going to be talking about the most successful thing on the freaking planet currently. I just did not expect that. Many of you probably already know, but for those who don't, Demon Slayer, the movie that has recently released, and when I mean recently, October, Japan, that's when it first released, and then of course started releasing in other countries in Asia, and then just recently, it also released in the US, which I will get to that. But the movie, when I last checked it, before it was, just a few weeks ago, I actually saw that it was $415 million in the box office. This made it the most successful movie of all time at the box office, in Japan, of course. The most successful Japanese movie at the box office of all time. The biggest. It was huge. It is huge. In fact, Japan... The amount of money that Japan actually accounts for is $362 million within the country. So that's a fucking amazing hit. I don't need to tell you guys that. Now that's of course not mentioning all the success it's had in other countries. Just recently, like I said, it also released in the US. In the US alone, this is all I know so far, it actually reached 21 point something million dollars on opening weekend, which is goddamn incredible. It also just broke another record there. So that's amazing. This movie is still going strong. I mean, for God's sakes, Evangelion 3.0 plus 1.0, why can't you have a normal name? Also released during this time. I believe it was in March. And Demon Slayer was still going strong, and it was his 21st week in theaters. This is Japan, of course. I'm talking about Japan right now. And I'm not saying that, and it's still doing great, even with Evangelion, and Evangelion's one of the biggest goddamn series ever. Now, it's not to say that Evangelion's not doing good. The last time I checked, it was like at 67.7 million. Probably is more than that by now. It also broke some records, including the film set a record for the highest IMAX earnings on the opening day, which I'm not surprised. I mean, Evangelion is probably no, it's not probably. It is one of the most beautiful looking movies because it's just so much talent's put in it, but we're not talking about that. We're talking about Demon Slayer, for God's sakes. So Demon Slayer, let's just get into the movie. This is my review of it. No spoilers, none. Well, maybe a few, but nothing major, alright? As for the story summary, I really can't tell you too much because most of it takes place on the Mugen Train. And it is about Tanjiro, Inosuke, Zenitsu. You know, they're going to find another master, Rengoku. So they're trying to find him to learn the secrets of flame breathing. And hijinks ensue, lots of things transpire, demons are afoot. I really don't want to say much about the story because if I say anything, it would kind of spoil it. And I don't want to spoil this because I know a lot of people are going to want to watch this. I know a lot of people have been waiting for this. Now, for that amazing cast, let's see who it consists of. Natsuki Hane as Tanjiro Kamado, Akira Kito as Nezuko Kamado, Yotsuko Matsuka as Inosuke Hashibira, Hiro Shimono as Zenitsu Agatsuma, Satoshi Hino as Koichiro Rengoku, and other very much talented people that are in this film. Alright, Demon Slayer, Mugen Train. What are my thoughts? What do I have to say about it? Now, I actually had a ton to say about how successful the movie is because I genuinely am impressed and almost shocked. I did see the popularity, don't get me wrong. I mean, Demon Slayer is everywhere. Everywhere I go, I'll see Demon Slayer, you know, cardboard cutouts, posters, New merchandise, new everything. Demon Slayer's everywhere. And a lot of people I know would talk about it. So I knew that it was very popular, but I did not know to what extent. I learned that. In the recent months, I have learned how god dang popular Demon Slayer is. Now, does that hype for the Demon Slayer movie, is it warranted? The simple, straight answer I could just give you guys is yes. If you watch the anime and you are going into this movie expecting to see the same amount of quality, you will get exactly what you wanted, if not more, because obviously since this is a movie, it has a bigger budget, they went all out with the animation, which this movie is a masterpiece when it comes to animation. I loved it. One thing I had kind of a complaint, even though it wasn't that big of a complaint, originally in Demon Slayer Season 1, there were moments where they would use 3D CGI animation. Now, for the most part, I don't complain too much when Ufotable does this, because Ufotable does 3D animation in-house, which this is usually something that's outsourced. Like if you look at, say, Fate Babylonia, the animation was done, they did it at the studio, but then when they needed to do the 3D animation, they had another studio do that. Ufotable doesn't do that. They've been doing this for years, for a decade, more than a decade at this point, where they seamlessly, they'll have these 3D backgrounds, whether it be backgrounds or characters, and then they'll animate over it. So it's all done in-house, and it always looks good, except for a few moments in Demon Slayer, the show. So when it came to this movie, I was really interested to see, okay, are they going to improve that? How are they going to incorporate that? A lot of this movie, you just don't notice it. There's a lot of moments in this movie where the landscape is CGI. It is 3D. But it's so well done, and it's so seamless with the 2D animation that it's really hard to notice. Even I had a hard time, noticing it sometimes. Of course, there were moments where the camera, where it would do these weird kind of moves, which that's something that Ufotable's known for. Okay, obviously I can tell, okay, that's obviously they're doing CGI right there. They have 3D models, they're animating over it. So those parts I was able to tell, but for the most part, the landscapes, it was more that I knew that what they were doing, but I didn't necessarily see it, and it didn't break my immersion at any point. But that was something I was really impressed by with this movie, is the animation. The animation was spectacular. Just like the show too, the movie has the amazing case of where it ends and you want there to be more. That was something that I mentioned in my original review of a year ago, I believe, where I said that each episode would end and I would be like, oh gosh, there needs to be more. Same thing happened with this movie. It's nearly 2 hours. It's an hour and 50 something minutes, yet it felt like it was 60 minutes. I just felt like it went by so fast. It was very entertaining the whole way through, which is impressive because it's a 2-hour movie. The majority of it takes place on the Mugen Train. The majority of it is in the train. Now, of course, there's more things going on. There's dreams. There's all kinds of different visions and stuff like that. This movie does an amazing job at not explaining what happened in the first season. So, and here's the thing. If anybody goes to this movie not watching Demon Slayer, I'm sure they're going to be extremely lost because this does not explain anything. That's a complaint I've usually had with other anime where maybe in a movie or in the next season they'll briefly explain this is what happened or yada yada yada. Remember when this, and it's horrible. Here they don't explain it. They just kind of, you already know what happened in the first season. I'm assuming everybody knows, Tanjiro's family dies and they show up, as a dream. So all that stuff, you kind of know that happens, and if you don't know that happens, it might be a little confusing. And I do think that the movie does suffer in a way where if you have not watched Demon Slayer, then it won't work for some people in a story basis. Visually, presentation-wise, it's gorgeous. The music's terrific. God, the music's amazing. I'm not going to spoil anything, like I said, no spoilers, but I will say a few things about the characters in this movie. The movie does focus a little bit more on certain characters. In terms of the group, Inosuke and Tanjiro are kind of the more focused ones, which makes sense. They're the popular ones, especially Inosuke. He's the beloved character. I really loved what they did with him in this movie. He was extremely funny. He was the comic relief For the most part, everyone's kind of funny. They all have their funny moments, but there is a point where the movie gets serious. Extremely serious. Even sad. So when you have that, like, everyone's kind of taking it very seriously. Everyone's kind of, sad. Everyone's kind of mellow. Inosuke is, kind of shares in that. Like, they know how to use him, which is what I really liked. In that it didn't break the emotions. It just it helps, because since he's the comic relief, he comes in and makes you laugh during, say, a very serious moment or very sad moment, stuff like that. And I really liked what they did with his character in this one. I mean, they pretty much just continued the amazing writing and the amazing characterization that they used in season 1, so I really love that. Tanjiro is the same kind of character that we all know and love, so he's great. But yeah, I really loved how both of them were essentially kind of the main characters in the movie. Not to mention Rengoku, which Rengoku is kind of the star. Like I said, without giving too much away, Rengoku, he's kind of the star. I was really looking forward to the movie when I first saw it, before I first saw it. I was really looking forward to see how they were going to characterize Rengoku. I have not read the manga, by the way. Well, I have, but I have not reached that far into it for the purposes of that. I want to be surprised with the anime. So I was really just kind of hoping to see, like, okay, how are they going to characterize him? How are they going to show it off? It's a movie. Are they going to be able to do a good job? I don't know why I ever doubted Ufotable. They did an amazing job. They show off a good amount of his backstory and a good amount of, like, who he is now as a character. And through his fighting and through just his personality, you're able to really understand who he is as a character. And I really, really love that. Like, we don't have that much time because it's a film, obviously. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's 2 hours, but, we have all these characters that we focus on, and here is a new character, here's Rengoku. And of course, I haven't mentioned Zenitsu, I haven't mentioned Nezuko, who are also in the movie a good amount. But Rengoku, it's like, okay, we need to have him here. How do we balance that out? And I think they balance it out very well, because every character in this movie, I love this, by the way, every character in this movie has a thing to do. Nobody is in this film and it's like, oh, you don't know why they're here, like, oh, yeah, that's annoying. That's annoying when you have characters that don't do anything. Here, everybody has a role to play. Everybody does their thing. Rengoku is amazing, and they tell his backstory. They show how he is, and he does a lot. He inspires, like, this group, Tanjiro, Inosuke, and Zenitsu. Like, they all really admire him, and you understand why due to his actions. And I really loved what they did with his character. It was great. The voice acting was terrific as well. I really was engaged with everything that was going on. As much as I would love to just, nerd out about all the amazing things that happened in this movie, like I said, I don't want to spoil it, because I do feel it's important you guys just watch it on your own, which I'm sure everybody will. I just really loved it. I was really excited for Mugen Train. It was one of the movies I was extremely looking forward to. Really loved it when I finally got to see it, and even now, it's like I've watched it multiple times, and I really love the film. Really love it. One thing I will say is that I can't wait to see more Demon Slayer, because this was just terrific. And like I said, this movie, it's got a plethora of emotions. It's fun, it's engaging, it's so awesome, but it's also just very serious, dark, and sad at times. So really just go into this movie and enjoy what's on screen. That's all I can say about it. I love the characters, love the animation, the fight scenes are incredible, that's all I'm gonna say. The music is terrific, loved it. And if you guys are wondering, no, there is no end credit scene. And for those who are also wondering if it got cut out of an American release, no, the Japanese version also does not have an end credit scene. That's just for you guys to know. I know they do that sometimes, which is really shitty. But by the way, I've always said that it's kind of shitty. In the Japanese version, sometimes they'll have end credit scenes, and then when they put it to other countries, they remove it. For God knows what reason. I'll have to look that up. But anyways, my final rating for Demon Slayer Mugen Train is a solid 10 out of 10. I had no issues with this film. I had no issues. I loved every minute of it. I was just completely engaged. I loved the animation. I loved the emotions. I loved the music. I loved the characters. Demon Slayer, it's amazing. It's amazing how, to me, it became one of my favorite anime of all time in such a short time. And I love it for that. And clearly, a lot of people feel the same way if it's doing this good in theaters. So, if you guys have watched Demon Slayer, let me know down below. Did you love it, hate it, don't care about it? I mean, that'd be weird if you guys hated it. But please let me know if that's the case. If you hate this show, if you hate this series, let me know down below. I'm curious to see why you would hate it. But I'll love to read your guys' thoughts on it. As always, I'm Grant for One Fair Review. I'll be back next time with more anime to review. I got so much anime to talk about. Stuff that I haven't talked about yet that I will talk about. Alright, I will get you guys those reviews. I will discuss them. Don't worry. Anyways, till next time, as always, have a nice day.